Let's build wellness rather than treat disease. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to I Got This podcast with LEX and MGP. My name is Lex. I've been a personal trainer for 7 years now. Martha is my client, and she has been with me for 4 years. Over our time together, she's lost over 60 pounds, and we have learned so much together. We've learned what works, what doesn't work, and more importantly, we've had so much fun doing it. So join us each and every week as we talk about whatever the hell we want. Hey guys, welcome back to I Got This podcast with Lex and MGP.
I'm back.
MGP is finally back. It was not as fun doing this podcast without you, trust me.
Well, I enjoyed listening, but I did miss being here.
Your responses always kill me. Well, like sometimes I compliment you and you're like, well, I'm like, I feel like that's just pure confidence.
Life just sometimes happens, doesn't it?
It sure
But
does.
I appreciate you picking up the slack the last couple of weeks. So.
Thanks. I hope you guys liked it. It was like super weird sitting there talking to myself. I give people who like do long-term podcasts by themselves, like really, 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 I think it's super impressive because you sit there and you kind of go on rants and like my brain cannot follow one string of thought because you edited them, you heard them, and I went from like A to C to B to F to Z, like topic wise.
Well, it's hard to be conversational when you don't have someone to converse with.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, it was really hard.
I'll have to give it a stab when you have a busy time period and can't.
I know. I want to see how you do. I feel like you do really, really well.
I don't know about that, but I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Well, guys, so today Martha brought up an awesome topic and it got me fired up because it's like what I live and I breathe. So Martha.
That wasn't even my intent to fire you up, but hey, I'll take it.
I know. Apparently our listeners like when I'm fired up.
They do.
Apparently, you know that little boy meme and he's like this little redhead. Okay, it's so hard when have you ever tried to describe a meme to someone?
Yeah, and they just look at you like, what?
Yeah, and you're like, I'm trying so hard, but like I know you've seen it, but I cannot describe it, but I want to show you. That happens to me a lot. Don't try to describe a meme to anyone ever or a GIF. Never. All right. Well, go ahead. Talk to me about how this topic came about. Like, give that backstory that you gave to me when we were eating our lunch.
I was talking to someone recently about trying to burn calories versus building muscle. And they were talking to me about trying to get in shape. They felt like they were not as in good of shape as they've been in the past, but it's someone who likes to run a lot. Okay. And when I say likes, she does run a lot. She actually hates running, is what she told me. I assumed that she enjoyed the sport of running because why else would you run?
As we know, Martha hates running unless she's being chased. All right, continue.
I am not the only one at the table, but anyway.
True.
And I will run just to make sure I can. It's more of it's satisfying to make sure that I can do it, but I don't do it for pure enjoyment like some people do. And I get that. Everyone's got their own sport. It's fine. But she told me, and I was shocked, that she runs only because she feels like she needs to burn the calories. And that's the only way she can burn what she considered sufficient amount of calories.
Yeah.
And so I said, yeah, I understand, because for the longest time I would just, try to burn a lot of calories doing cardio, whatever. And then I started lifting weights and I was like, oh, I should probably do, the elliptical machine for a half hour or something after lifting, because I only burned, 200 calories when I was lifting weights for an hour. But, you jump on a piece of cardio equipment and you can burn a ton, right? So I told her, honestly, the lifting part, you're going to build the muscle. And in the long term, that's going to be the better thing, because you have to think of it kind of like a bank account. And when you go and burn calories, it's just like removing, money and throwing it under a mattress. It's not going to do anything in the future. But if you build muscle, it's like putting it in the bank and having it earn interest, where you're going to increase your metabolism, where you're going to make yourself stronger, where you're going to live longer. And at the end of the day, you're just going to look better and feel better. And she really didn't believe me. And so I kind of was telling you about this. And I'm like, I think there's a lot of people that don't quite understand what's going on. So should we be building or burning?
Building or burning? What a great tagline. Are we building or burning?
Yeah.
That is I get so fired up on this because I explain it all the time. And I might have explained it here before, but I'm going to explain it again.
And it took me, honestly, a while to understand it as well. And I'm not even sure that I fully do, But I know that you would even get frustrated with me because I would say, I don't know that I'm burning enough calories. I want to lose weight. At the time, that was my total goal.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Now, the one thing I do want to pre-frame is that heart health is crucial. So doing cardio is crucial. Running is a skill. It is something that every person should be able to do. They should be able to walk, they should be able to jog, and they should be able to run fast. And I think those are standards of being a human being, unless you have like injuries like a bone on bone knee injury, which is funny that I say that because I have a client, somebody you know very well. He's the hardest working athlete I know, and he's got bone on bone knee, and somehow he still runs because he finds it to be a necessity in his life for his health, right? I will say cardio is crucial. I would never say don't do cardio, but that's the standard of living. People should be doing cardio on a day-to-day basis, whether that's going for a walk outside, whether that's biking, whether it's just being active. Like that is the standard. You should have that as your basis of living
that's for
life.
heart health.
That's for heart health.
Right.
Now I'm going to get into muscle. Muscle truly is the organ of longevity. Dr. Gabrielle Lyon says that, and I have heard it once, and I was like, yes, that is the truest statement of all time. So I'll tell you how you basically, just like you said, when you build muscle, what it does is it actually increases your metabolism and how many calories you burn on a day-to-day basis. Think about the fittest person you know.
Right.
Are they a very muscular person?
They're pretty jacked.
They're pretty jacked, right? Your daughter, I can even like your family is like really strong genetics. Some of the healthiest people I know, right? And like strong is sexy. Strong is healthy, right? But you can think of like some people whose health are deteriorating, and think of the people who are like even women or people who are older in your life who are really frail and lean and losing their muscle rapidly. Like I think of the little old lady who's losing her muscle rapidly. Like that's failing health, right? Because she doesn't have the ability to walk around the block, to get up out of her bed, like that type of thing, right?
Just even get out of a chair, simple things that we take for granted.
Isn't that crazy? It's actually mind blowing that people don't understand that cardio is not going to help you get out of the chair. It'll help your heart, but it's not going to help you learn how to sit down deep and stand up with muscle. It's not going to help you carry a box out to your car heavier than you could normally carry later in life. So, yes, muscle number one has to do with your looks, right? People who are more muscular actually have a higher metabolism, so they have a lower body fat percentage. So that's why you get that like toned look, right? Those people who have muscles in their arms and you can see them when they lift their arm, that get that nice little bump, right? That's muscle and low body fat. They go hand in hand. Right. So that's why you need to build in order to burn. Yeah. And then, so the calorie burn in that moment. So I personally, when I work out, so for instance, today, and again, I'm a 130 pound, 5'3" female, and I'm 28 years old. So all those factors do matter, but I worked out for 45 minutes today. I only did 3 lifts, okay? I did hip thrust, I did back squat, and I did hip abduction because I wanted to build muscle in my legs. Huh? Yeah. But I did 3 lifts, and I went really heavy. Do I look lean to you?
You're lean.
Yeah. I'm pretty damn lean, right? My body fat percentage is low, right? Yeah. And that's not out of a compliment. It's fact, right?
It is what it is.
I am lean. I have a lot of muscle and I'm lean. I know women much stronger than I am, but I am lean, but my muscle mass is proportionally higher than my body fat percentage because I'm building muscle. Right. So that's why people who are doing cardio, they are actually like nonstop. They're actually losing their muscle because that you lose body fat and muscle together. Whereas when you lift weights, you can build muscle and lose body fat at the same time.
Right.
Does all of that make sense? So yeah, you're doing yourself an injustice if you're just doing one and not the other. The strongest athletes in the world do both. It's been proven time and time again. Athletes are getting stronger, better, faster because they've been weight training and they increase their muscle mass on a daily basis, and they're working on that. It's so hard because I think just people do not understand. Yes, that hour burn. Oh, and I got one more tangent and then I'll let you, dig in. For instance, let's talk about like an Orange Theory, okay? Orange Theory advertises, if you come to this class, you're going to burn calories during this hour, and then you're going to burn calories after this hour, right? They have that thing where it says, okay, it's your EPOC, exercise post-oxygen consumption is higher after this class, okay? which is so funny because it's a cardio-based class. So what happens is people love classes that make them feel like they are sweating.
Oh, right.
When I work out, I don't sweat. But that's, again,
Mhm.
that's a genetic thing. And I'm lifting weights and going slow to build muscle because I'm small. So that's what
Right.
I need to do. You got to sweat, Martha, for
Mhm.
you to get where you want to go, right?
Mhm.
Completely different people. But the play is that they're trying to get you to look at the calorie burn
Right.
for you to get results. But guess what? They're not using weights over 15, 20, 25 pounds. It's just not happening, right?
Mhm.
So they're not having people build muscle on a bigger scale. Yes, you're going to have muscle, but you're not building consistent
Mhm.
muscle. Does that make
Yeah, no,
sense?
you're using the weights as really kind of
More of a
a way to
cardio.
get the cardio up.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I get that because I've done classes like that where we're using 3-pound weights. I'm
Yes,
not going to build muscle with 3-pound weights in my hands.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
someone else might, but I'm not.
hmm Well, everybody starts somewhere,
Right,
right? The
for
80
sure.
year old that's never worked out will build muscle with those 3 pound weights, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
no, I love this topic because it's true. Would you rather burn or build,
Hmm.
or are you going to build to burn?
Right.
hmm
And I guess that's kind of what the conversation I was having with this friend from work is yeah, this is good that you burned 500 calories today on your run, but that doesn't do anything for you for tomorrow.
Yes, I love your analogy. Yeah, longevity. It's honestly longevity. I think
Hmm.
you said it really well. People work out a lot of the times for ego, and that's great. But then you don't think about. I had a conversation with a client that I
Hmm.
sat down with right before you. She is in her 50s, and there are things that she's not doing, and I said, "Hey, you can just not do these things. That's
Hmm.
great, but think about where you're going to be in 20 years. Like 20 years if you are not stretching and taking care of your body or drinking any water, your organs will hit failure.
Oh
You
yeah.
are going to have blood pressure problems. You are going to have cholesterol problems. Like these things are going to happen because you're not doing the things that are going to help you. And building muscle is crucial. It is one of them without a freaking doubt. That means like guess what? I worked in a nursing home for a year because I thought I wanted to be a nurse. And
Hmm.
every single person in that facility, every single person, every single thing that they had could have been prevented if they took care of themselves.
Hmm.
But guess what? A lot of things set on earlier. Even if you have a genetic disorder, it's your issues are setting on much earlier when you're not working out and you're not taking care of your muscle in your body.
Oh, I have decided that working out is the fountain of youth.
It is the fountain of youth. You've
Hmm.
reverse aged since
Right,
you've been weight training.
for sure.
And there are factors like I think there's I have here's my theory. Here's my theory for aging, my trifecta. Are you
Hmm.
ready?
Oh, I'm ready, baby. Bring
Okay, so
it.
I think here's my thought process. I could be wrong. There could be more to this. I'm sure there is. And I will test it as I get older.
Okay.
Here are my 3 things that if you do every single day or regularly, you will not age. Like you will look so much better if you did not do these things. Number 1 is water.
Okay.
If you're drinking a significant amount, right? Look at that. Look at how you're looking already. You're reverse aging. You look so much better than you did 5 years ago. Don't you?
Mhm.
I do too. I look at
Yeah.
pictures of myself and I'm like, holy shit, at 21, I looked inflamed and I looked like stressed and I looked like exhausted. And I didn't think I would look like how I look now. And
Hmm.
I like how I look now.
Hmm.
Number 1 is water. Number 2 is strength training.
Hmm.
And then, okay, I'm going to make it 4. Number
It's the 3+1 pro.
3 plus 1. Because obviously I am making this up on the spot. But I do believe these things. So it's weight training, it's muscle building, it's sleep.
Hmm.
If you are not getting 6 to 7 hours, now I think it's different for mothers. I think they get like when you're a young mom, you have hormones released in your body that allow you to stay up and maintain like stability for your children
Hmm.
when like they don't get enough sleep at night. So I think it's slightly different in the younger years of that.
Oh, it's tough to be sleep deprived during those years. I mean, it's not that you don't need, but you can get by.
Yeah, you can get by.
Your body adapts because it has to.
Exactly. It's crazy. And then the last one is alcohol. If you cut out alcohol, I guarantee you are going to look so much better. And of course, I believe in nutrition. Of course, I believe in like all of these things make a difference. But I think without these 4 things, you are not going to age as well. I truly believe
Hmm.
that water, sleep, stress, and no alcohol.
And I just throw sunscreen in there for fun. But
Yeah.
that'd be my other one.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, sunscreen too. Yeah, you're so right. There's a lot of them. There's so many that matter for sure.
But that are easy too. Like that's an easy one.
That's an easy one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. So it was interesting. We started talking about this, and I kind of brought it up too in ties with longevity. Why are people working out? And that's what we had talked about, ego and vanity, and that's what brings a lot of people to the gym initially. But I think as you start getting a little bit older, and I'm not saying senior citizens yet, but you start seeing the generation above you or two above you, depending, and what they're going through and their maybe lack of fitness versus maybe there are some people that that are in their 70s and 80s and beyond that are fit and how much they can still do. Because I know so many people that are in their 20s and they're like, oh, I just don't want to even be 70 at some point.
Well, you're going to be 70.
Well, yeah.
It's going to happen.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, most likely you're going to
Yeah.
be 70.
And, as someone in their 50s, I'm like, 70 is not that far away. I got to, when you're 20, you think, oh, it's forever away. And it doesn't even become an issue. But as you are getting older and you're realizing it's more than just vanity and ego.
Yeah.
And I know we've talked about this in the past, but I want to be that great grandma that can sit on the ground and play with the kids.
Yes.
I don't really think I know anyone who's 80 years old that can sit on the floor and get up.
That's exactly right. And a lot of people don't even know how to get up and down.
Exactly.
They don't even know how to do a lunge to lean up. Some people just push themselves. Like watching somebody get off the ground when they don't know how to do it is actually frightening. Like you're like, oh my God, you're going to break something just getting off the ground because you don't know how to do it properly because your muscles don't have the strength to do so.
Right.
And you put it so perfectly. If you go to the gym too and you look at people who are in their 70s working out, look around. There are few. Like there's probably 1 to 5 that are going regularly and making themselves, that aren't doing cardio and like learning how to, trying to move in different ways, right? And test their abilities and their strength and their mobility and all of that good stuff. And guess what? If you look at those people in their 70s, if they just started, you're going to say no. But do they look good?
Oh, for sure.
They look fucking awesome.
Right. They do.
There's an explicit for this episode.
You can always count on you for one. But no, they look tremendously younger than they are.
They look tremendously younger because they're going on a regular basis. And that's a trend. That is a trend. And I guarantee you'll see that.
And I even see that with women and it's more women than men just because that's who I'm hanging out with, like at the golf course or whatever.
Right.
But the women that are walking still at the golf course who are, are playing golf. And I know that is not as impactful as weight training for sure, but they're still active and doing things. And we've got women in our league that are in their 70s and 80s and they look fantastic.
Yes.
And they're out there and they're being active. And so I just, that's what I want as I get older too.
Yep.
And you have to start now though.
You have to start now. You cannot wait. You cannot wait. And then, so you compared it to being an investment and it's so funny. So I have a few clients, Phil, and he kind of sat me down and he's like, because I brought up I brought my Roth IRA. I was like, hey guys, last year I maxed it out for the first time.
Yeah.
I'm 28. And so my first year was last year, 27, maxing it out for the first time.
But 6-year-old you is going to be like, you go girl.
Well, so here's what I said. So I put another 1,000 in last month and I said to him, I was like, and he made me like this hard drive. He's like, if you keep this up, you'll be a millionaire by the time you're 60. I was like, and then he was like, but just so you know, with inflation, and these are things that like I think a lot of people know, but like I'm not excitedly educated on it. But now with people's help like him, I'm like excited about it. It's like, but guess what? With inflation, like that's not that much money. You're not going to be able to live very long off that amount, right? So anyways, and so I maxed it out again and he's showing me how much money I'm going to have at 60, whatever. And I said to him, I was like, I feel like I'm throwing this money away, right? Like, I feel like I am just wiping my hands of it. I'm putting it in an account and I don't, it like 60 to me is 30 years away, 32. And I'm like, God, what a waste, right?
Nope.
No. But what he said like when you said it's like an investment, it's like some people believe, well, guess what? An hour in the gym feels like a waste of time. But it's the same thing. It's not. A lot of people think working out is a waste of time. A lot of people believe, or they in the front of their mind, they're like, I know it's not a waste of time. I know I should, but I don't see the value of starting now or
I don't have time today.
Yes.
I hear that a lot. And I'm like, I'm very full with my schedule as well, but this has to be a priority.
So it's the same thing as like the investing thing. Like I could say, well, I'll start next year, right?
I really want to spend that $1,000 on It's
A
vacation.
vacuum.
You go vacuum. How old are you?
I do
go
want a new
I
vacuum,
go with
right?
fun.
Wow, I am at my 6th
Welcome.
down.
You are an adult. You are officially an adult. Congratulations.
I want a vacuum. I want a lot of things. If I could write you a list, I would. That 1,000, what I would do with it. That's not
But
even that much money.
once you throw it though, but once you throw it into your Roth or whatever, it's gone.
It's
You
gone.
just don't think about it.
Exactly.
And it's gonna pay off.
Exactly.
And
So
that's the same thing, right?
it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. It's like, to me, I'm trying to just compare values, right? Like,
Mhm.
so for me, money is not like a super valuable thing. Like, I want a lot of it,
Sure.
but once I do, and I could spend it like that, right?
But why do you want a lot of it? Not because you want to look at your money.
No, I want a lot
So
of it.
that you can have a life that you're comfortable with.
Yes.
And you can do the things that you want without worry.
Yes. So that's the same exact thing as fitness, right? Yes.
Why do I want to go to the gym? Not because I want to be like, look, I can curl 20 pounds.
No.
Well, because you want a comfortable life
Yes.
that you feel good about, right? And do what you want.
Damn, what a good episode today. Like, seriously, the best. And seriously, it's all connected. Every single thing.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. It does. It affects, like, if you keep putting these hours in, you will get the longevity results. And I had a guy who you know really well. He was complaining. He's like, I feel like I've put in years and I am not seeing results.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny because every single day he's coming, he's done the work, he's doing better, even though when he feels like I'm going to shame him and say, hey, you're not doing well enough.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I'm like, no, you're actually doing pretty damn well, but I have to be mean to you because that's my job, is to be mean and tell you you're not doing that great of a job and you could do better, right?
Right.
And so we sat down for an assessment today, and over our time in the last year, he's lost 30 pounds. And you would say compounding, that's a lot, right? And 6% body fat, that's a lot. But then, and it's funny because he sat down with his doctor and he's like, oh, guess what? You're not obese anymore. Oh, guess what? You are getting close to being taken off this medication. It's so funny. It's like, you think those are wasted hours. Guess what? Years later, you're closer to being healthier than you were 10 years ago.
Yeah. And probably, and this will sound a little cliche, but for every hour he put in the gym, he's probably gained
an hour of life.
At least.
Minimum.
If not, yeah, more.
Isn't that crazy? So let's talk kind of about diseases and what health matters, right? So I found a few stats that were kind of cool. This is from aarp.org, which is really freaking funny. And I can throw the stats if you want them. So one study looked at 970 people living in a senior community who had no evidence of cognitive decline, none. Okay. Researchers put the subjects through a series of strength tests measuring their upper and lower extremities over the next 3.5 years. 15% of the subjects developed Alzheimer's disease, but their risks was strongly determined by where they fell on the strength scale. For every 1 point increase in muscle strength, a subject's risk of Alzheimer's dropped by 43%. 43%. Oh my God, that makes me want to cry.
That's huge.
That's insane. 43%. Oh my God, I want to cry because that's like, it's so true. You can control your mental health. You ready for another one?
Okay.
Or do you have anything to say about that?
No, you go. You're on a roll.
A low level of muscular fitness is associated with higher odds of gaining at least 22 pounds over the ensuing 20 years.
Yeah.
20 years. 22 pounds.
Do you want me to match you stats for
Yeah,
stats
give me
over
another
here?
stat. Give me another.
So I'm actually looking at the National Institute of Health.
Okay.
So, they got some credentials there.
We got both two good sites.
Yes.
Okay.
So this one, they did a long study on all-cause mortality. So people could have died from any reason.
Okay.
But for women, the median age of death was 82.7.
Okay.
So that means 50% died before that, 50% died after that.
Okay.
But in the groups, in the lowest quartile, so the 25th percentile and below, lowest muscle mass, 58% of them died before 82.7.
Oh my God.
In the highest group, the highest 25th, the highest group, 75th percentile and above, it was 39.8. So look at the longevity. difference.
Muscle is longevity.
Yes.
Holy shit.
And that's all-cause mortality. So there could have been accidents in there, and all that. But
It's
if
really
you're
good to
looking
have
at
a
it,
stat teacher on this podcast. We like to be talking about this, but keep going.
yes. Well, and yeah, I won't bore you with the actual numbers in here, but yes, the p-value is very tiny. And as my kids know, that is
P-value?
the probability of getting a sample
Oh.
with these results where the so this means that this is a very valid study.
Are you ready for this one? You ready?
Mm-hmm.
You'll slash your risk of heart disease.
I feel like that's a clickbait right there.
Several studies have shown that the greater your muscular strength, the lower your chance of developing metabolic syndrome, a constellation of health issues, including excess abdominal fat, high blood pressure, high blood sugar, high cholesterol, all of which are tied to heart disease.
Yep, there it is. So back to the study I was reading for the men.
Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, but I had to flip to a new screen while you were, slashing heart disease.
Okay.
But with the men, the results were not quite as significant as the women, but still pretty high. So the men, remember, it was the women 58% in that lowest quartile died for the men, it was 52. And at the high end, remember we said it was like 39% for the women almost. It's about 40 for the men. So it's still there, but for women, it's even slightly more significant.
Wow.
Muscle.
That's just crazy.
And I don't know. My hypothesis is maybe that women haven't been building muscle. So the ones that have, we're seeing
a tremendous difference. Yeah. I mean, women haven't been like lifting weights for very long at all. Like, I don't think there's been a generation, like even above yours, where women can say they've been lifting weights for.
There's some. It's spotty.
Yeah.
It starts becoming a little bit more common with my generation, probably,
but I think it'll be
more even younger.
I think it'll be my generation that will be the test, like the true test, right? Because there are girls now that.
Well, I'm just Gen X. We just ran wild and feral and came home when the lights went on.
Feral. What is that?
We were the wild child.
You were the wild child? Oh.
We were the generation where our parents just kicked us out on the street and said, come home when the lights came on.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I don't know what. Well, you know how you raised your kids, so that's me. That's cool. I like that. All right. A study of okay, you'll be happier.
Yeah.
That's like no shit. Like, come on. Like, I'm sorry, if you have depression, try working out. I don't know if you can tell recently, but I've kind of let my opinions and bluntness run a little bit more wild. I've become a little less thoughtful. But seriously, if you're just sad, try working out. Like, you will be happier. A study finds 3,000 adults ages 54 to 89 found that having a strong grip was inversely associated to symptoms of depression. Strong, healthy, and happy. If that sounds like the future you imagine for yourself, it's time to make your muscles a top priority.
So I have a question about that, because they were talking about grip strength in there. And I've been reading different things lately that's how they're testing your strength.
Okay.
And I'm guessing that's just because it's an easy way to test someone's strength. You're not going to just grab someone off the street and make them bench and squat and all that. But I guess I'm curious how they do that.
Testing grip strength?
Yeah.
Pretty damn easy. It's how hard you can, like, you can.
Do they have like something measures it?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
that's what I got them asking.
You know those like, the clips at the bar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to have some grip strength to even get those flipping things.
Yeah, so there's like measures you can use to grab. Here, let me see if I can find a grip strength measure.
Because I mean, the things that everybody always had that you like kind of squeeze when you're sitting at your.
You literally grip it and it measures the force of your grip, right?
Okay.
Which is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, my grip strength was going this morning on the monkey bars.
I know.
She had us climbing monkey bars this morning. But anyway.
It did.
Why was that easy at 8? Because it's not so easy now. But anyway.
Well, you were probably like 40 pounds.
Yeah, I guess. And I was not afraid of falling back then either.
There was a lot of factors. You weren't afraid of falling. You were 40 pounds. You were much more limber. A lot going on there.
And kids just don't think about it. They just do.
They just do. I still thought it was really hard at that age. I was like not a fit kid, I don't think. It's crazy to think about. Like, now I'm fitter. What I was going to say, though, it's funny, though. People don't think, like, why would you think that grip strength is correlated to your overall strength?
I'm just guessing that it's equal throughout your body, but not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, I really don't know. That's what I'm asking.
Right. So, like, it's funny because we'll use straps when your forearm strength starts to go and you've been gripping the bar for too long.
Right.
But you can still put up more weight. Well, it does say, I mean, there's an article in the National Library of Medicine that does say that grip strength is completely correlated to your overall body strength.
Okay.
So I mean, the data's there. I would like to read more articles on it. I'm pretty interested.
Mhm.
But I mean, I will have girls who once could only hold 5-pound dumbbells and then they get the 10s, and the 10s are heavy and hard for them to hold.
Sure.
And then eventually they get really, really like strong and can do like holding 50s is no problem. Just like
Mhm.
you, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
for sure.
remember when you started holding 50s and it was really tricky and then you learned how to grip them and have proper form when
Mhm.
you were doing a farmer's carry of sorts, and like it became so much easier.
Oh, yeah.
So it does make sense, but I would like to do more research on that.
Yeah.
So
No, I've definitely felt my hands and forearms have gotten a lot stronger.
it's pretty cool. This
Yeah.
has been my favorite. I truly like favorite episode because it's just, I mean, it's something I stand by. It's why I became a personal trainer. Like, even I got one more story. I got a client with rheumatoid
Mhm.
arthritis. He's in his 50s. It's really bad, like really, really bad. And he's not by any means overweight, and
Mhm.
he's not even seeing great results, like, because he just doesn't work on his nutrition. And but the
Mhm.
funny thing is, since he started working out, his function of living is so much better. Like, he was very klutzy before. He couldn't really control his pet movement, right?
Okay.
His perception was off. And since he's been focusing on muscular control and practicing strength and practicing muscular control, bench pressing, deadlifting, all of that good stuff, his rheumatoid arthritis has not progressed. I don't know if it's regressed, but it has
Mhm.
not progressed dramatically, which is so crazy. I mean, that's fact enough,
Yeah.
right?
Back to that whole longevity and quality of life situation we were talking about.
Exactly. Think about being that age, 50 years old, and having such like a tremendously, like, that's difficult to live with. It's not
Mhm.
easy. But if you're doing something 3 hours a week to make yourself like you're able to live better, why the hell wouldn't you?
Mhm.
Right?
Oh, for sure.
So I don't know. Thanks for bringing this topic up. I think it was absolutely one of my favorites.
And I didn't even know I was gonna fire you up with that one.
Duh. Muscle is my thing, babe.
I know. So I guess we don't need to ask Lex. Is it build or burn?
It's always build or build to burn, whichever you prefer. But
Well, and think about the muscle too. And I thought about this recently. When you see someone who does have a lot of muscle and how much, you think
mhm.
about the amount of food that they can eat or whatever, but your body adapts to, I mean, it wants that muscle.
Oh, bodies want muscle. It's insane how much, like, your body quickly adapts. It starts building quickly.
Yeah.
Bodies want muscle. They
Mhm.
want to protect their bones. They want to protect their organs. They want to live a long time.
Right. So it just makes sense. So build the burn. We'll go with that then.
I like it. All right.
I got this. Hey guys, thanks for listening this week. Please leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to podcasts. For more I Got This content, please make sure to follow, like, and share on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or you can always go to our website, igotThisPod.com, for more info. As always, thanks for listening. See you next Monday.